ki khubor ka bate si TV. Lawan Rashapi taka Frank Motors. Booking open for the new Nexon. Visit Frank Motors or call 7045207973.
MIT University of Meghalaya. Our admissions are now open for the academic year 2024-25. Explore our best courses, experience global collaborations. Apply today.
Kaseng Kongres kala Kular bahkan Pynkha lai paulak teligikam hagi Tnat rekam beper-beper jangka Sorkar Pdeng. Yakni la pentip da Secretary ka Meghalaya Pradesh Congress Committee haga jingakran bikira pathai kubor haga pratarik leber ajar pusau. Union yalam jangka Seng Kongres uloong baki dan shi paulak teli ki sanction post ki balashu satli hapo ki Tnat rekam jangka Sorkar Pdeng. Berkumju ru la pentip balada ka Kongres kawan haga bor sensyar hadin ka election Lok Sabha ka Bansa Longshen kan sa Pynkha yaki kam ki bathamai ya ka ba ansa besut ru haga manifesto jangka parti ka ba ansa election.
There are a few commitments in which the Congress party at the national level has come up with, saying that these are the commitments in which we are willing to go through, and we will ensure that if the Congress is in power and if the Congress gets a chance to at least do a few things, there are 5 points in which they have given the commitment, and these are particularly very relevant for our society, I think especially for Meghalaya. If we look at the first one in which they had said, what strikes us most is this gig economy. Economy basically is an unorganized economy in which daily wage laborers, so-called as nombalasni in Meghalaya, which is highly prevalent. What the Congress is committed is that in few places like Karnataka and in Telangana for that matter, they had come up with these insurance plans for them, whereby a 2 lakh insurance plan, health insurance, a 2 lakh accident insurance is already there. There's also a health insurance of around 10 lakhs in fact in Telangana, in which the government has already started work, and they have got good traction, so which they feel as if in the rest of the country as well. We need to have a social security kind of a program in which the gig workers or the daily wage laborers or the nombalasni are protected in every way possible to ensure that at least they have a decent, a better life, a better quality of life, a way in which they can lead their day-to-day lives. And that is one of the promises in which the Congress has done. The second promise in which we are trying to at least tell the people is that a lot of graduates, when they finish their schooling or they finish their education, especially in this economy of ours here, when they start looking for jobs, you will notice that they are very much underpaid. So a lot of kids, when they start going for their first job, they get a salary as meager as, let's say, 3,000 rupees or 4,000 rupees by some of the business houses and so on and so forth, which I feel is not even subsistence. And in many cases, there are a lot of families who says that, okay, since it's the first job, they'll get experience in doing it. But if you look at the ground reality, is that it should not be the case. So what the government or what the Congress is trying to do now is that we are trying to ensure that, whenever a graduate or somebody goes looking for a job, they will get this apprenticeship in which we are committed, and we say that for the first year of working, we committed to ensure that whether it's a private or public sector, even as an apprentice, everybody will be paid 8,500 per month, which translates to 1 lakh of rupees in the first year. What will happen is that it creates this buffer to ensure that once these people finish the apprenticeship and they actually do the actual work, then it is required for the employer to ensure that the payment is at that level. So that will at least, the minimum level should start with such a thing. And I think that's a very, very good step in which we need to start looking very seriously, because these two things, especially the gig workers and the fresh graduates who are starting to work, require such help. And I believe that the Congress is very committed in these. Okay? Now the third commitment by the Congress, that is saying that if you notice these programs that are being run right now, especially for entrepreneurship and so on and so forth, it is high decibel on noise and very low on implementation. And many of the implementation is more or less very elitist. When I say elitist, means that only a few sections of the society can do. Like there's a program for wine making. I always tell people, like, in Meghalaya, who makes wine? The poor people don't make wine. It is the people who are affluent in nature, isn't it? Now, when you run a scheme that you support them, it's very nice that you're supporting them, we're not denying it. But I think the lower end of the pyramid is being missed out. So the Congress is committed that when we do come and are able to do this, we want to run programs for entrepreneurship, there's no denying, but we are committed to spend 10,000 crores of funds on this, and that's commitment from the central. And this will ensure that, we'll ensure that this fund will continue to go to the grassroots level. When I say grassroots level, we're talking about even the nooks and corners, the villages and so on and so forth. So if there's an entrepreneur who's coming up from a small village somewhere, maybe he's making only a mona, or he's making some musical equipments or something, whatever that they do, but that they feel that they are entitled to get some help from the government. The Congress is willing to help that grassroots level. It should not just be on the surface. It should not just be elitist in nature. So that's the third commitment that we're talking about. The fourth commitment that the government, that at least the Congress is saying, is that we will ensure that the paper leaks, especially in competitive exams, is drastically reduced. If we look at statistics alone, just the last 5 years, there had been 41 paper leaks across the country and across 15 states. So a lot of these new aspirants, especially when they go and sit for exams, what happens is that if they go and sit for these exams, most of the time the exams gets cancelled or something or the other. And that has been happening even in Meghalaya as well. But they have to pay for it, right? They've paid for it. There's a lot of collection in which the government is doing. And there's some way or the other they fumble and everything goes wrong. So I think it is a lot of leakage that is happening that breaks and shatters the life of many students and many aspirants. So I believe that this is also one of the key steps in which the Congress will address if they ever get a chance. And these are very important things that we have to look, and I think we should very seriously look into. The other thing is government jobs. See, if you look at from a central government job point of view, there are so many jobs that are still lying vacant, whether it's in the state or the center. Just to give you an example, in health services alone, just in Anganwadi, there are 176,000 jobs that are lying vacant in India today. And believe it or not, this will translate even to places like Meghalaya. See, government jobs will always be limited. I will not comment on what the BPP is saying, but I can tell you what ideally government jobs should be like, okay? My understanding is we have to look at the good performing states in the country. Let's look at Sikkim. Sikkim has a population of around 8 to 9 lakhs. But Sikkim has government jobs of nearly in excess of 1.5 lakhs. So if you look at the ratio of government jobs to population, I think Sikkim is performing quite high, be it because of the state being run properly or whatever. In our state, I think we're still underperforming in a very large extent. So government jobs definitely should be there, should be more, but also the efficiency of running government jobs also. You can't just create jobs for the sake of creating, right? It also has to have an economy which is thriving and which is thriving quite well and is moving in the right direction. Therefore, you need people to run the show also, and then government jobs can only be created as such. It's not necessary that you create government jobs without having an economy which is performing very well also, especially when it comes to internal revenue of the state, which I think we are underperforming to a very large extent. Yeah.
Do you think that
reservations exist everywhere, okay? It exists in America also, it exists in Germany also, some of the best performing economies in the world. So, to talk about reservation and jobs is, I think, not related. Reservation is just a tool in which you bring about equal playing field, but not necessarily that you bring the two together. I think it's not a topic to be discussed. Yeah. To me, at least, I feel as a resolution has nothing to do with India. I think there's nothing much to say about what the MDA has achieved. I think it's the same wine in a new bottle. There's nothing different. It's a lot of fluff. There's a lot of spending, even from a budget's perspective. If you look at it, there's a lot of revenue expenditure and capital expenditure had hardly grown. Yes, it has grown a little, but I also believe that should grow a lot more. You have to get this understanding that the Indian economy is also moving towards the 4 trillion. So we are growing at 6%. We should have grown a lot better, but then that's a different discussion altogether. But growing at 6% is also going to translate to quite a huge amount of corpus that comes from the center. And being a federal country, I think the state also has its own right of getting that money, right? The point is, money will keep on coming to the state. It is just how the state spends it which is more important. I don't believe that the way the spending that is happening in the state is actually good. I really don't believe. Because I believe that it is more about, it's like when you're in a family and you have a little bit of money that you get from here and there, rather than investing it in resources which are important for the long run, you're investing in resources which are more or less fluff, which is for now. So it might help them in getting electoral benefits, but for a state perspective, I don't believe that will translate to anything good. It's like the mission that they ran last year, where they were distributing pigs and they were distributing 5,000 rupees per family. Do you believe that such activities actually result in any development in the state? It in fact it is very bad in fact. So those kind of doling of money continues to happen even today, and which is very, very wrong.